Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here, and in today's video I'll be talking about Bill Croskey Merritt and how he is PFF's #1 graded running back so far this season, why the Commanders need to use him more but probably won't according to some reports. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, that notification bell, and also comment down below what you guys think about Bill and hype up the video, which is a new feature. All these things help out the algorithm trying to hit 16,500 subscribers by the end of the month. So Bill, we all know he's been good. Maybe the production, the counting stats necessarily haven't been there, but the efficiency is there. He's averaging 6 yards per attempt per carry. He's very, very good there. #1 in the NFL. 38% first down rate, 72% success rate, 14% explosive rate, which is 7th. The other two were all three were first. #1 in PFF grade by a crazy margin. And then I believe the last stat there is 4.4 yards. I don't know. I don't know exactly that stat. I was thinking yards per carry over expected or something, but that just does not work. We'll go into his stats in a little bit, but Bill's been really good. The problem is, the Commanders haven't been playing him as much as, they probably should for a guy that's this efficient. I mean, you saw last week, he was very efficient. So, Chris Rodriguez was good. I think the numbers are a little bit misleading because, he had 1 carry for 49 yards, which is great. I mean, that shows his big play ability, but the rest of the carries were a little bit lackluster. But again, he's been good for the Commanders. And I'm not saying to take carries away from him, but the fact that you had 2 running backs combined averaging 7.5 yards a carry and you only give them 14 combined carries is ridiculous. And it wasn't like they were down by a lot the whole game. There was a portion of the game in the fourth quarter where they're down by 2 scores, but they ended up coming back anyways, or getting it to 1 score at one point. But a lot of the game was pretty close, and they just passed their way out of it, in my opinion. Obviously, the defense was the biggest issue, but forcing your quarterback, your backup, even though he's good, to pass a lot isn't a recipe for success, especially when you're so efficient as a running team. Not just the running backs, but the receivers can do it well. But I was more gonna emphasize as Marcus Mariota can run too. So it's just so many different threats there, which make these guys super efficient. But according to reports, this is from Dan Graziano, Commanders are happy with having a running back committee of Bill, Chris, and Jeremy McNichols. And, it is what it is. But again, I think they need to give more carries to Bill than the other guys. And, Jeremy's fine, but we don't need him to have that many carries. But I guess you don't want to just have him as a third down back where, if you have him on second down, the teams know you're gonna pass because you have him in there. So you do want to mix it up a little bit. But Bill definitely needs to get the brunt of the work, in my opinion, with Chris Rodriguez as a complement to him. And if the running game's working, just lean on that and continue to give these guys the ball. They do view Croskey Merritt as the most capable one of the 3 to emerge an all-around threat out of the backfield, which is interesting because I've seen a lot of reports saying somewhat the opposite, just like, they're not playing him because he doesn't have that pass blocking ability. And some people don't think he can get that ability, which I don't agree with. I feel like, obviously there's some technique involved, but a lot of it's effort and, willingness to, get hit a little bit. And then pass catching, I feel like he's fine. Maybe he's not elite at it, but, he definitely has the potential there. So, I think he definitely has a chance to be a good all-around back for the Commanders. We'll look at his stats in a bit. He is a little bit older for a rookie, but still, having a good season for the Commanders here. Like I said, 24 years old, and I guess I didn't say he was 24, but still 29 carries, 172 yards, and has 2 touchdowns. So he's found a way to get in the end zone too, which is another good thing. 11 first downs on 29 carries is also good. And then 5 targets, 3 catches, 15 yards. So, not bad numbers there. You would like to see a little bit more from him, in terms of the pass catching, but, only 3 catches over 4 games, but still overall he's had a very good season for the Commanders, especially efficiency wise. They just need to see it a little bit more in terms of, or not from him, but they just need to give him more carries. I mean, you see overall the numbers here, and just some games he's just not getting those carries. And the only game he has over 8 carries is the first game against the Giants, and he had a dang good game there, 10 carries, 82 yards. I mean, obviously one of those carries was long, but sometimes you have those long carries that inflate the average, but then sometimes you get like 3 goal line carries in a row, and that deflates the average. Even if you get a touchdown on one of those carries, I mean, that's going to be 3 carries for 1 yard. And when you have few carries like he's having, that's going to lower your average. And sometimes it might not be your fault that you're getting hit in the backfield, right when you touch the ball. But yeah, overall, I think the Falcons game was probably his best game. 7 carries, 47 yards. Average 6.7 yards per carry, but it wasn't like he had any crazy rushes. It was just really good balance overall, and he had his best pass catching game, 2 catches for 10 yards, a long of 6 on 2 targets. So that was improvement there, and the efficiency was good. His cutting is good. His vision is really good. He's quick, and then he also can run through people. So he's all around a very good back. Maybe he doesn't have any insane elite traits, but I think overall he has pretty good traits. And, the Commanders ought to use him more and give him, I'm not saying 18, 19, 20 carries a game. For this Chargers game, give him 12 to, 15 touches, at least 10, or at least 10 rushes, 10 to 15 touches, in my opinion, is a good amount for him. He got 9 this past week. Maybe give him 10 rushes and 2 or 3 targets. I think that overall is a really good balance for Bill, and then start to give him more after that. I wouldn't mind if they gave him 12, 15 carries and a couple targets as well, but I just don't know if they're there yet with him, but I think they should be. The guy's been super efficient. Real quick, a word from today's sponsor. And a huge thanks to Sleeper for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you guys check them out. You guys can win real money on their app, and they have a great new promo where you can get a free $20 entry with no deposit. So make sure you guys check them out. Use promo code Pedro as well, and you get a 100% deposit match up to $100. You can use my link in the description. Promo code Pedro. We will have picks for the Commanders Chargers game tomorrow and on Friday's show and Saturday as well. So thanks again to Sleeper for sponsoring today's video. Okay, and again, a huge shout out to Sleeper. We talked about Bill. Again, I think he's very efficient, and he's been good so far and has been a successful pick by Adam Peters, thus far. And overall, I mean, it's hard to really miss that much on a 7th round pick, and the fact that he's already playing and has been efficient is already a hit, in my opinion, as a 7th round pick. And if he continues to ball out, it could be a really, really good hit. Obviously, it's easier to hit on running backs in the later rounds and other positions. You're not going to find a franchise tackle in the 7th round or a franchise edge rusher. Like, if you do, it's very, very rare. Like, Max Crosby is an exception. 5th round pick in 2019. Like, you look at a lot of the top edge rushers, a lot of the top tackles, the early picks. But running backs, you can find guys, diamond in the roughs in the 6th, 7th, and undrafted, parts of the draft and, free agency. But let's talk about injury stuff. So, Terry McLaurin not out there on the practice field. John Bates going through stretching with everyone else. Noah Brown and Jonathan Jones working on the side field. Jonathan Jones is on IR, so he can't play for another 2 weeks. And Noah Brown's not on IR, but, if he needed to, they would have already put him on IR because he's missed, I guess it's only, he's missed 2 games. So same thing with John Bates there. Sam Cosmi, his practice window open. Not going to get into that too much, but overall that's good news, obviously. And, means he's probably going to be playing within the next few weeks. I would be very surprised if he played this week, which is, week 5, but maybe week 6, and then week 7 for sure. He's probably back, or if not, they're going to have to, he's going to be on the roster, obviously. But Also, I think if you open the practice window, I don't think that takes up a roster spot just yet. I think they have to activate him off of it, and that creates a roster spot. I'm not completely sure on that. We'll get back to that in a little bit. Jayden Daniels, he's back. He's playing this week. There's no doubt about it. Likely going to be playing on a brace, or not on a brace, with a brace. Here's him, practicing a little bit, running around. He's got the brace on his left knee. He obviously does not like it. He talked about it, and you can see him kind of, messing with it a little bit there. And he was talking to the media today. Not very happy talking to them, and I don't blame him. They're just asking him the same questions over and over and over again about, do you feel good? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right, I obviously asked, the first time, maybe the second time, but every person asking the same question, I'm sure it can get frustrating, obviously, for him. But as fans, frustrating for us too, because we're trying to get more information, and you're just asking him the same question, and what do you think he's gonna say? No, I don't feel good, or whatever. No, he's gonna say he's gonna feel good and wants to play. So it is what it is. That's just a side note there. And yeah, that's kind of it there for Jayden. He's gonna play this week. I think he's playing in his home state of Cali, and his mom tweeted out something like he's coming back, and then he said he's gonna have a lot of people at the game he's playing, guys. And he's been medically cleared by the doctors and will practice fully today. So practice report hasn't been released yet, but he's fully practicing today. Terry, I would be surprised if he played this week. John Bates will probably be questionable. Noah Brown, I don't know. Dan Quinn did say both those guys are trending in the right direction, so that is good news for sure. We're just gonna have to wait and see though on those guys and see if they play. I doubt it with Noah Brown, especially with them bringing in Chosen Anderson. I don't know, and not that he's a stud or anything, but the fact that they're bringing him in, after the game against the Falcons, and if Noah Brown was coming back, I feel like they wouldn't have brought him in, and so they might call him up for this game depending on the injury stuff. But that's kind of it for the injury stuff. Sam Cosmi coming back at some point. I'll pull up a tweet here, and then John Bates and Noah Brown might be back this week. I would expect Noah Brown to come back later than John Bates. I think John Bates will probably come back this week or next week, with Noah Brown coming back, then the week after. And I don't think he's coming back this week. That's just my opinion. Who knows? But yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new. Check out Sleeper, and peace.